Hello. I think we are live, potentially. Rightio. So we're back for another day of working on my game, Fragment Collapse. I am going to try. I'm going away for the next like 2 weeks, and then it's the New Year period, so I'll be gone for probably like 3 weeks to a month. But when I get back from all of that, I'm planning to try and get this game up on Steam so that I can start playtesting and start collecting wish lists as well. And there is a bit of stuff that I need to do before we get there. One of the main things is that I'm still like trying to nail down some of the art stuff. So if you saw last stream, you will have seen yeah, let me just pull this over here. You would have seen what it looks like, and you can see it looks quite different now. So um basically, yeah, because you need to do like all these screenshots, and they suggest having a trailer. Like the trailer and the screenshots are sort of the main thing holding me back from releasing the Steam page, which is what I need to do if I want to upload a playtest to let you all play it via Steam, which is by far the easiest way to do all this stuff. So I need to get on top of that, and it turns out it's much harder to nail all these things down than you might think. So, but we're getting there. We're getting there. So, yeah, the main thing that's probably changed last time is the visual stuff, which I still haven't quite finished tweaking. But basically, this is what it used to look like. And as you can see, it's all quite cramped. Like, there's not a lot of space around, and these screens were a bit on the small side. So, it was all just feeling really cramped. So what I've done is I've sort of taken this. I actually ended up scaling up the size of the base canvas a bit. So it's still a pixel art game. The old one was 960 by 540, and the new one is 1280 by 720. So if you're playing on a high res display, things are still getting scaled up, and it has a nice pixely look to it, which I quite enjoy. But the base size has gone up. So I basically took this old one and sort of rejigged bits and bobs to make it fit into this new one, and I've added some new places for things to be displayed as well. So like obviously this whole module here in the middle is brand new, which is kind of a fun one, I think. And then there's some extra stuff going on here, and all the screens are just like slightly bigger, which gives me slightly more room to put in information. Because with a game like this, there's so many like tooltips and stuff. Oh, I didn't really think about the streamer position. Maybe they can go. I might need to still tweak this again to have a good spot where nothing's covered up, like where you can put your face if you're streaming this game. But yeah, so these things down here, like I said, I'm still like tweaking everything to make it work with these new changes. And as you can see, a lot of the time, one of these screens actually has nothing on them. So I'm thinking I'll probably make this main screen just one screen, and then everything that goes in these screens can be like anything that's on either of these screens can probably just be consolidated down to one, because I've moved a bunch of the information that went on these screens into these various other bits. So if we just play a game, you can see down here, we've now got the score, like what your move score will be being displayed nice and big down here. And like the information about what your target goal is all down here, and your moves and everything permanently there. So these screens now have a lot less going on in them. So I think I'll be able to like consolidate that down to one. But I'll see if I can. There's another fun little thing that I've been able to incorporate here, because if you saw the last stream, you can get like this lightning effect going on if your move is going to beat the score target by itself. So, and I've moved how that works, and it's quite fun now. So let me just try and get this to be in a position where I can beat the score target in one move. Ooh. While also not... Here we go. I think that'll do it. Yeah, so watch down here. We get that cool lightning effect. Pretty cool. Definitely need some sound effects and stuff. But yeah, I really like this little module down here, because it kind of makes the important information much more visible. And at the same time, everything feels slightly less cramped. How are you going? Did you grow your hair out and moved into the living room? I did move into the living room, and the reason for that is this is the only room in the house with aircon in it, and where I was in the study, oh, lost focus. Hello. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so in the study, there's only a fan, and there have been some gross hot days already this summer, even though it was technically still autumn, no, spring, when we were getting a day, it was like 40 degrees and like 90% humidity. It was just disgusting. So I've moved out so that I've got aircon. It's not actually on today because it's not too bad. I've just got a little fan here. Um, but yeah, so and yes, my hair's probably grown a lot since the last time I streamed. Well, not the last time, but the last time because it's been a while. um, but yeah, it's so much nicer to be in the aircon on those really hot days. So yeah, I probably need to try and get some aircon in the other room just because of the way the weather is going these days. But yeah, so a lot of these things I haven't quite tweaked yet since I've moved the positioning of everything, so we might look at doing some of that today. Another big thing that I want to figure out is at the moment, these pieces, there's only one thing they can be matched on, and that is their color, essentially. So there's just these each piece only has one identifying characteristic, and that's the color, and that's what you match on. So green pieces always match with green pieces, orange always with orange, and so on. And I think one of the things that really works well about Balatro is that like cards have the suit and the rank, and that just means there's so much more flexibility in what you can do because you can have jokers that apply to either one of those things or both of those things, and so you just have way more variation in what you're able to achieve. Whereas this is like there's only one thing that you can match on. So I'm trying to come up with something that kind of thematically makes sense where I can have two things, like two identifying bits of information on a piece. How if you're sleepy? Yeah, it must be like, is it midnight for you? Must be close to that. In which case, definitely go to sleep. um, but yeah, so I need to give some thought to 10 p.m. That's not too bad. Still pretty late. I would be in bed by then. So yeah, I need to give some thought to how I can make that work. One of the things I was thinking is because this is meant to be like kind of computery themed, and I actually need to lean into that more. So I think what I'm gonna do is make it so that these pieces are gonna be called bits. So each one of these is one bit, and um, then I was thinking what I could do here. So if we have, let me get a nicer color. If we have this is a bit, what we could do potentially is have instead of having like a shape associated with it, because they're all like at the moment all green ones have a triangle. And I don't think shapes are the way to go in terms of identifying, because I think like with a number you can go in Balatro again as an example, you go 2 through to ace, or like 1 ace through to king. So you got 13 different ranks that you can choose from, and I don't think I'm going to be able to get like 13 different shapes. I don't think I need 13, but I think something close to the 10 sort of mark. So what I was wondering is in a byte, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are very poorly drawn squares. But you have 8 different positions that a bit can be in a byte. But I don't know what you would call that, and I also don't know how you would like get this across. Because like a card is a very recognizable thing with a suit and a rank, and this is something kind of more abstract, and so I don't know if it's going to work. So if anyone has any ideas about how to give these pieces a type, so they've already got like the color, which is basically like the suit, but to give them a rank would be kind of good. I also don't know about starting it at 0, or if it should be starting at 1, just for the non-programmers that are playing. It should probably be this way around, not the other way around. But anyway, yeah, so that's something that I was toying with, is making it have a byte size, or like a bit position. And then what I was thinking of doing is that you have like a big switch on the desk, so that you can switch when you're in here, you like smash the switch and it'll switch from matching on the type to matching on the number or the rank. I mean, I could just make them numbered bits and then that's that and just be done with it. But yeah, so I was thinking there needs to be some sort of other thing going on rather than just the color. And I don't know that there are any like match 3 games or collapse games that match on multiple things. So maybe I should look into that right now. Let me pull up a browser window and see if I can find something. So, match 3 games that match on multiple things. I don't know. I don't even know what to search to try and find this. Like, I don't know, innovative match 3 games. Hmm. Might have to watch some of these in my own time, but yeah, don't know. There's nothing obvious. If you know of any games that are like a match 3 game that match on multiple things, let me know. But that's kind of what I'm thinking of doing, is being able to switch between matching on the color and then whatever other attribute I end up giving them. And that way, like I was saying, then you can have cartridges that will do things depending on their rank or their color, basically. And I think, yeah, I think that'll just open up for a lot more interesting sort of design choices and possibilities than what I've currently got. And so these are all sort of things that I need to figure out before I release the Steam page, I think. Because I think it would be good. Again, it's sort of a chicken and egg thing, because it's like, need the playtest to know what is working and what's not, but I can't do the playtest until I do the... Oh, I don't want to do that finger. Until I do the... I'll do it like this. I can't do that until I have released the Steam page, but to do the Steam page, I need to know kind of like a finalized version of what I'm releasing, which I can't do until I've done the playtest. And so you get this like back and forwards. So yeah, I don't really know what the play... Maybe the play is to just release the playtest and the Steam page without these things nailed down, and then it'll change over time. I mean, it's going to change over time anyway. It's just like I would like to have the big changes out of the system before uploading to Steam. But we will see how we go with that endeavor. Am I going to finish this level? I think I will, yes. But yeah, it would just give you more variety, which I think would be good. Alright. Kind of got a good setup going here. I probably want to do like that. to get those orange matches is what I need to do. There we go. Okay. I do find that like just playing the game is by far the best way to figure out what to work on next. Although, I guess it's not so helpful when I'm trying to figure out the existential things of how to fix the game. Okay, piece of cake. Oh, and another orange one. Good. Yeah, because I don't want to rip off Balatro too much, but it is like it is a very good game, and there's a lot to like about it. But you know, you got to put your own spin on things, obviously. So it's just about like figuring out how to do that. I want to try and join these oranges up if I can. Come on, surely. 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 I'm gonna run out of moves before I get an orange. There we go. Probably should have checked that I even had... I got oranges left. So this is the other thing is, yeah, like, you see now all this extra space on these screens means that I'll definitely... I reckon I can definitely consolidate all of this just to one screen. Instead of having these two mini screens, I could just make it the one mini screen and then make the main screen much bigger. Much bigger. Yeah, so we got those oranges connected now, so that's good. So this should go hectic. Although maybe I can get even greedier with my last few moves. Here we go. Should go big. There we go. Woo! So the other thing is, speaking of Balatro, is money-wise, I don't have like the interest or anything. And so there's not really that much of an incentive to keep your money around. Or like, you know, to not just spend it all as soon as possible. Unless you're like saving for unlocking something. But actually, that was another thing is I was thinking of getting rid of these locked slots. And so at the moment, I've got this concept of like a high voltage slot where there are certain cartridges. Let me see if I can. Yeah, like this one is a high voltage slot. So it requires a high voltage slot to work. So at the moment, I can only put this in this 32 match slot because that's the only high voltage slot I've got. But I think having just like one, it's essentially like a slot level. And my idea with it was to stop you from being able to do these like really powerful slots in a really easy to trigger slot. Sorry, really powerful cartridges in these really easy to trigger slots. But I think just having one level of cartridge and slot kind of doesn't make sense. So I'm thinking I might change that so that instead of having high voltage, we basically just have like a slot compatibility thing. Let me just do that. So at the moment, yeah, there's the high voltage thing. But what I'm thinking is you could basically have like, you know, this slot would be just like for common cartridges only. And then this one can be like you upgrade it. And so it can still accept common cartridges, but then it can also then have uncommon. And then you could upgrade that again so that you've got common, uncommon, and rare. Like these are just generic names, but then you have it like color-coded. I don't know what they would be. But then, so then you can really easily identify like what cartridge can go in this slot. So a blue one can only go in this one, and I couldn't, so this would be like a high-level cartridge, so I wouldn't be able to put it in here. And so what I think I would probably do is like the first two would only accept common, these two might be uncommon, and then the last one would accept a rare straight off the bat, and they'd all be unlocked from the start. But it just means, and you'd be able to upgrade them, but it would just mean that you kind of have this same system where you kind of gate kept on how like you're kind of capped on how powerful you can get straight off the rip. So yeah, that's something to think about as well. There's so much to think about. Oh, and I'm gonna get wrecked by this boss. I can't match orange, and I don't have any wild cards or anything. So another thing with this game as well is it just needs more content, which is always a thing for games, needing more content. Alright, let's just rip that. I don't like my chances here. In fact, I should do that. Maybe I can do it. Because yeah, it's a massive drain early on money to have to unlock these slots. Maybe they just need to be cheaper, but then it's like, what's the point of having them at all? But it's like, or maybe I should just have more slots unlocked early. I don't know. No. Jeez, this is not looking good. This is the problem with stacking your deck with oranges. I got 50 of them. And now I can't match them. Alright. It was always doomed, but that's alright. So, what to work on? What to work on? I think maybe we try figuring out the rank thing. Well, Jonathan Blow's already announced his thing, and that's all that the indies care about. So I'd. Oh, team share. I'll have to have a look at all the outcome of the games awards. But you know, like there's stuff to do. I can't just sit around watching. You guys can watch 2 live streams at once and pretend you're being productive, and I will have a look at all of the stuff afterwards. But yeah, so actually, Blue, you've always got some good ideas. So welcome, by the way. But one thing I was just talking about is how this game so far, each piece only has like each piece only has one attribute that you can match on, which is its color. And I was saying how in Balatro you've got the suit of the card and the rank of the card, which means that there's 2 different things that you can sort of match on. And so I'm thinking of having like a big switch somewhere that you click and it will switch from matching on the color, which is basically the suit, and then matching on something else. But I can't think thematically what that other thing would be. Because at the moment, they've all got like a shape on them. So in the blue case, it's a circle. But I don't think shapes will work in terms of what the other attribute is, because there'd only be a few of them, and you can't do things like the great thing about ranks of cards in Balatro is you can do like odds, evens, Fibonacci number. Like there's all these different ways of dicing those values up, whereas shapes is a bit like arbitrary, and you don't have those like well oiled things for how to divvy it up and make interesting cartridges in this case, or jokers in Balatro. So if you've got any ideas of how we can add another property to a piece so that it's not just its color, but has like a color and something else, that would be great. My thought that I was going through earlier is that in a byte, there are 8 bits. And so I would call each piece, call that a bit. And then we get 8 bit positions, essentially, is what they would be in the byte. Um, but yeah, I don't know if that really makes sense because what I was saying before is like a card is such a universally known thing, whereas if you just have like a blue piece with a 6 on it, it's like what is that? No one knows what that is. But I guess like colors and numbers are well understood. I mean, the other thing I could do, I was thinking, is like a hexadecimal thing, or even just like a letter. Because then you've got things like vowels and consonants. But you only got like two vowels in the start of the alphabet versus six or four, depending on whether you stop at hexadecimal or not. Oh, match the underside. I think I need both bits of information visible because I think it would be good, like even if you're matching on colors, if things that related to the other thing were also so like for example, like the even Stevens Joker in Balatro, each even number gives you like +4 mult, I think it is. So even when you play a flush, you're able to get the benefit of that. And I think I would want the same thing here. And so having it on the flip side, you wouldn't necessarily know what extra bonuses you're going to get from the flip side until you flip it. Like I really like that idea, and I can imagine the animation of like flipping them all over. But yeah, I think all the information would need to be visible from just one state. I definitely think I would do some sort of animation for when you. Yeah, you're so right. You're so right. I mean, what I could do, and this is something I was thinking about, is rather than having all the tiles square with a shape inside, you make them you make the entire tile the shape that is the symbol and then put a number. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Make the shape surround the number. So like orange would still just be a square, but then blue would be a circle. Yeah, let me get some blue action going. Would be the circle with the number, and then like green would be not that. It would be a triangle. Yeah, so I might do that. But then I was also wondering if there's something that fits the computery theme better. Because if I am going to call them bits instead of pieces, I don't have enough space with a grid that big. Yeah, I am contemplating making this screen bigger for the actual matching bit. And because at the moment I've tweaked all the visuals so that there's way less information on these two screens, so I'm thinking they will be consolidated into just one screen, which will give me way more space for the grid. Um, so I think there's definitely merit to this, and I think this is kind of what I was leaning towards. I just don't know if there's a good way of conveying what it is. And I guess it doesn't really matter how much it fits with the fiction because it's not like any of this really makes sense in a real world context. So maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it doesn't matter at all. Okay, let me try doing a bit of this. That's a good suggestion. Yeah. Yeah, let me I can very quickly do a bit of this. Okay. Um yeah, I can definitely easily tweak how many pieces are in the grid as well. Like so the maps are very configurable. They're literally just very easy to change. Um and I haven't really balanced the size of them at all yet. But I do think I could probably like increase the size of the grid by almost a half again, because I got heaps of space. What's that? Horizontally, and then I can make it taller vertically as well. So I can definitely like make each piece look bigger. But let me just quickly yeah, I'll do what you suggest. I'm gonna get a screenshot. Where can I do that? Here. Do that. Copy. Okay, and then let's just do a very bad job of covering this all up. Ah, so actually, I probably wanted to know how many rows and stuff. Whoops. Right, so the blue one would be a circle. I honestly think actually it'll just be faster for me to tweak all of these and see what it looks like to do that. Okay. We just do something really rough and ready for the moment. Okay. Bear with me, sorry. Something like this, and then what will it look like with that? Yeah, cool. Delete that. Get a bit of white, and where is it? Object. Object. Yes, doesn't have to be anything special. I don't know why I'm bothering doing this, because I will probably definitely change it if I end up doing this, but there we go. Okay, so let's just try with just the blue for the moment and see how that looks. But yeah, no, good, very good pick up on the accessibility factor. It's so different. I'm so used to looking at the little squares. And let me just try, like you're suggesting, if I just drop column. I probably wanted to drop a row, actually, didn't I? Can do both. Yeah, okay, that's like the same size. I needed to drop a row, I think. Let me get rid of 2. See how that looks. I mean, I think this sort of size is good for the pieces, but I do think that the grid needs to be bigger, probably, because it's going to be very hard to make long matches with this. But I think the shape thing has merit. Let me try. One thing, actually, one thing that I had in at some point. Oh, I don't know if this will really work, but I'll explain what I'm thinking, and then you can tell me whether you think it's a good idea or not. But one thing I was thinking at some point was to do things so, like, if you've got a match, where's my brush size gone? So, like, let's say you're matching these pieces. They're in some sort of configuration. I don't know, something like this, say. Um, the way I figure out like the match thing is I do a basically like a flood fill. Like I think I do a breadth first search from wherever you're hovering over, and so you could number them based on the visit order of the breadth first search, and then do it as a modulo. So like say once you get to 8, it would then start again. So this way you wouldn't be able to match on numbers, but there would be a number associated with each piece as you're going through the matching process. And you'd be able to change which piece is which by choosing which piece you're starting on. So if you started like here, say, it'd be like 1, 2, 3. It would change the rank of each piece as you went. But I don't know about that because then you can't make matches of like inner and outer shape. The shape matches plus the number can be ascending or descending on match. Oh, kind of like Uno. So it can match either the number or the. Hmm. Maybe that could be like a special item. I think this sort of idea could be interesting where it depends on which piece you match on. I should have just drawn on here before. um so like if you start the match here, this will have a different number than if you start the match here. But I think no worries, mate. No worries about typos. Um yeah, I think there's something to that idea, but I'm not sure it's what I want out of this. I think I basically just want these to have arbitrary numbers. You know, who knows what they are. And then you could have a cartridge that's like odds do something, and so it would trigger on the 1, the 3, the 7, and the 3. And maybe it doesn't matter that they're not going to be as obvious as cards or like not as familiar as cards, because I think it's like it'll be pretty obvious once you've played like one round what's going on. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to do it and see what happens. I'm going to do just like the quickest, simplest job that I can, and we will so that hopefully I can like finish it today and we can just see how it feels to do that. So let's get started. I won't bother doing the other shapes into shapes just yet. In fact, I might even put this back for the moment, just because it was awful, and also because I don't even know if this is going to work. And the art is going to take a lot longer than me to do the coding. So I will just do that. So let me go. Why is that over there? Let's go to the piece class. And so it's got a type ID, and let's give it an int, and we'll just call it rank for the moment. And so this will take a type ID and a rank. And we say this dot rank equals rank. I don't know why the tooltips and stuff are showing up there. It's a bit weird. So the copy will also need the rank. And then down here. Oh yeah, don't look at this code. This is some awful code. So the string needs. Don't look at this. So we've got the rank. And what is it? Can you do like integer value of yes info one? Oh, this is so gross. They don't have like a scanf. Like there is a scanner class in Java, but it's yuckier than just doing like the C scanf thing where you can just put in a format. Because I'd basically like to just parse this in Uno Reverso, but I'm doing it a gross way instead. Okay, so can match. We check the IDs, but then we also check that the rams.otherpiece.rank equals this one's rank. So we can match on type or rank. And then, of course, enhancements can also have a say on that. Get type ID. So we will also need a public int get rank. And then probably a set rank as well. Oh, that should be void. Okay, so now when we create a whole bunch of pieces, there's a few spots where we need to change all of this. And the other question is, what's the maximum rank? I'm just going to say 8 for the moment. And I'll make this public, I guess. No, I'll keep it private until I need it. Okay, so when we are setting the rank, I might actually do this so that I can do some little checky things in here. So basically I want to mod it. I want to make sure it's at least 1 and then mod it with 8 as well. Is there a modulo that like works with negatives to make them positive? Ooh. That's fun. Yeah, doing a min and max thing could be fun. Yeah, see, this is the thing. I think it just having multiple things opens this up to so many more. Yeah, so it stays negative. Yeah, because I want it to be in the positive range. And in fact, I want it to be -5, mod 3 is -2. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think that's what I thought it was, but I would like it to make it positive, so I might just have to do a cheeky while loop. I will have a look at that. Let me pull that up. Yeah. I haven't actually downloaded this yet. Let me have a look. I'm gonna open it in Notepad. All right, so does it actually implement this, or is it just? Hmm. I think what I can do is just literally do a while loop and oh, okay. Look, I'm gonna just keep it simple for the moment and say while rank is less than 0. I mean, theoretically, this should never be hit, but it's good to double check. So while rank is less than 0, rank plus equals the min rank. Oh, no, the max rank. Uh, and so we'll do rank percent equals rank. Is that it? Can you do a percent equals? You can. No, percent equals rank. Percent equals max rank. Uh, oh. So we make sure it's in the range on the maximum side, and then we just make sure it's... Ah, that's a smarter way to do it, isn't it? Oh, no. But what if you're like... Oh, and then you mod it. Would you... If you do it that way, though, so if... Here, I'll type out what you've got. So, not a while. If rank is less than 0, then we do rank equals that minus that. So essentially we're adding this. But what if this is like more negative than this is positive? So say this is max rank is 8 and this is like -30. Then I think we want to do this the other way around, don't we? So like that. So that this would become then 38, and then we mod it. Does that make sense? I mean, the other thing I could do is just take the absolute value. I think I'm overthinking this because this should like never be a problem. Now, so then the reason I was doing this is that we can just this is a bit annoying. What I'm gonna do, rather than do this, I'm gonna do a string and literally just put in the type ID for the moment. Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, I did it like this so that I could. Alright, this is also gonna have to have in rank. Let me just do like this. Oh yeah, so it's not quite the same thing. Look, I think honestly I could probably just clamp it on the bottom end. I mean, I'm not anticipating that the rank would ever be set to be a negative, but I could just clamp it. Make it 0. And then just not worry about the negatives. Max, min, clamp, 1, 0. I've also got a clamp function. Look, I'm just gonna leave this for the moment because I think this is kind of not relevant to trying this feature out. We can figure if we're accidentally somehow setting negative rank values, we can work that out. So one thing we are going to have to do is here when we're specifying the deck, also have ranks. So what I could do is do something like this where it just automatically spreads them, but if you want to make it a number, you can do that as well. You gotta go back to work. Yeah, sounds good. I should probably try and do some work as well. So we need to figure out the rank. So we can say, oh, actually no, I'll make it if the rank's -1, it'll be auto mode. So why is this showing up so low down? I don't quite get it. Rank default value -1. So then if rank equals -1, we will do that, and then otherwise we can just pass the rank in. Now the question is, I feel like I'm doing a lot of sort of setup stuff that I probably don't need to do to just try this idea out. But what we can do is we can say for less than num. Oh, we're already using an I and a J. Let's call it R. And so that should... it's not quite what I want. I'm just going to leave it for the moment. I think honestly what this should be is not do whatever this is. And it should just be the actual... Where do I use this? Because then I just go through and make a version of each of these. So I think that this should just have an array of... I don't know what's going on with IntelliJ. Yeah, let me just like... I'm just going to close this. And reopen it and see if that fixes things. Then what I'm going to do... call it with piece. Get rid of the num. And then just create the piece. Pieces.put. Add. And then this will be an array list of pieces. Get pieces. Term pieces. And then where I use this is in the deck. And then we just make a copy of each piece. I think that will be simpler. Oh, needed that. Don't need that. There we go. Okay, so then when we're loading this, we can say this, and then otherwise we pass in the rank. Go. Oh, actually, we can do this. We do the for loop there, and then move this if in here like this. Because we want to create a piece for each one anyway, and then auto mode, we feed in its index, which will then automatically cap it in here so that it repeats, and so that should be good. So let me just do the same thing in here. And so then if you want to be specific about what rank things are, then you can. But you don't have to be, which is kind of good. Okay, so now we need to display this information. So when we display a draw piece, okay. So right at the end is probably where we want to do this. So we want to say let's just get the most basic thing that we can up. x plus cell size on 2, y plus cell size on 2. Let's just see what we're dealing with here and how many things break. Um, oh my god. Stuff manager. Yeah. Game info. I am gonna have to make that public. Public. Alright, let's try that again. I think I'll need to readdress those little bits at a later date. Crash on the load, that's good. uh, yes, because there are other things that use pieces inside scripts. These ones. You know what? Maybe sometimes I do want to have a sort of like a none rank. Like how the tower cards, there was like the stone rock cards in Balatro don't have a rank. So maybe, yeah, maybe that's how I can do it. So let me go back to the set rank function. We get rid of the minimum requirement, and so it'll just be a maximum. And then when we're matching, we check that they're the same, or because yeah, if they're the same, or if one of them is negative, then it doesn't have a rank. I'll come back to this. I'll come back to this. So I think we just want to be able to put in like a -1 here. Code blue, code green. Actually, no, we want these to only match on their color and not on their rank. I feel like this would have been a good thing to figure out a bit earlier, but I guess you can't really choose when you figure these things out. Okay, I need to change. Oh, what I probably need to do is have like a matching mode. So this is basically what you were talking about, Blue. Is it's like, yeah, actually I'll just make it more obvious, the numbers. But right now it's able to match on both at the same time. Whereas I'm thinking I'll have a switch that you can flick to change. So what I might do is have like a matches rank and then like a do something like that. So what was I going to do? I was going to make them more obvious. So have a mouse that's a literal mouse that clicks when you click. That's quite funny. If you click the right mouse button, have it turn blue or something for the toggle. Ah, so toggle. Yeah, left and right mouse. I gotta figure out how that would map to like a controller or a keyboard only thing though, because I am trying to be much better with the accessibility thing. Actually, I don't need to do that. Oh, didn't mean to do that either. I was essentially thinking just have like a big box thing. I don't know. With like a big red button on top. And you just smash this and it toggles. Nice big button like this, and then it might have like a display on the front that shows you which mode it's in. And you just smash that, and then it'll switch. Something like that. I don't know. What was I gonna do? I was gonna do g.fill. Did I not pass? Oh. Just make it white. Okay, there we go. So yeah, this is doing the thing where it's I need to change the text size as well. Based on how big the cell size is. I can do that. I can do that. They're also not very central for apparently being central. I feel like there's a lot of information going on here. And I think what would actually be good is depending on what mode you're in, it will emphasize one or the other. So like when it's the color matching mode, instead of having them in white, have them in like a white with alpha, so that they sort of fade. And then when you're in the number matching mode, yes, even that might be still too obvious. But yeah, when you're in the number matching mode, actually, I need to if piece.get rank is greater than or equal to 0, then we do this because we don't want to display the negative ones, and we probably want to display it one higher than it actually is. Okay, but yeah, so depending on what mode it is, we will make it less visible, and if it's not the color matching mode, we can do like a like tint it with a something like that, and then untint it. There. Let's see what that looks like. Probably looks a bit whack. Oh, it's terrible. But you get the idea. So like emphasize the numbers when it's number matching mode, and emphasize the colors when it's color matching mode. Maybe. I'll need to figure out visually how that will all work. So let me put in like a private boolean color matching will default to true. We need a getter and a setter. Public boolean get is color matching, and then boolean switch match. Oh no, public void switch match mode. Color matching. Do the old switcheroo. Like that. So then what we can do params actually we should probably just get it off the actual game info, but I can do a public boolean is color matching mode here just for convenience sake. We return info.is color matching mode. So then back in the piece we can say if params.is color matching mode maybe I don't need these. These might be overkill. And then else we match on the rank. I wonder if we need to have a way of it's like if you're buying a shop piece, a piece from the shop, you'll want to be able to see the color and the rank. I guess if we've done our job properly of doing the visuals for this, you should be able to see both in no matter which mode you're in. But yeah, I'll get to that. I'll get to that. So we need a way of switching mode. So for the moment, I'm just going to hack something in. And we want it down the bottom somewhere. Where's this? 56643. Don't mind that I'm hard coding this. Is that it? Or did I say something completely else? It's close enough. Close enough. Maybe make that like 40. And then what we want this to do is we want this to switch mode. Okay, and then when we're drawing, we will need to tell it which mode to be in. color match mode. So if we're not in the color match mode, here we want to do a g.int not 0, but like 128, 28, something like that. And then down here we say if not color match mode, g.noTint. And then we say here color match mode. If so, we want the alpha to be like half and otherwise full, and we just see how that goes. Oh, of course, we got to actually tell it which mode we are in. See, this is the beauty of cards, is that they are so recognizably suit and number. That is a little on the large side. I mean, it could be quite clean. You haven't missed too much, Blue. I've just sort of been faffing. No, I think we're getting kind of close to being able to test things out. Let me just pass in a color match mode and pass that in here. I'll just default that to true for the moment. And where is this used? Only there. Okay. Shop items, we'll just do true and true for the moment as well, and not worry about that. So in the grid screen, oh, here we want to say game info is color matching mode. All right, let's see what this looks like. It'll probably look terrible. Another place that I've missed. Will this work at all? We will find out. We shall find out. Play. Look, it's not going to win any awards, so we got some 3s there. So matching on rank is going to be way harder, given that there's 8 ranks and there's only 4 colors. So maybe that needs to be reflected in the score that you get from doing it. That's quite funny. That's good. I like that. I think now the question is, will you ever actually enter this mode? I feel like there's got to be some. I guess it all depends on the cartridges associated with it. Because it might be very beneficial to match a whole bunch of 5s, for example. Depending on what your setup is over a bunch of blues. I think it's kind of tricky. Yeah, let's see if... Okay, yeah, so it doesn't change anything here. It's kind of tricky to tell the numbers apart. You know, like with the colors, it's very obvious where a clump of blues are. Or a clump of whatever. Whereas in this, it's very hard to tell where a clump is. And so I'm actually finding that I'm just looking at the outline, how big the outline of the region is. Which isn't probably the ideal thing. So that is something to consider as well. A few 1s going on here. Like, I think, realistically, if I'm playing this, I'm always playing in this mode, just because it's way easier to figure out what's going on. So maybe what this means is we go back to the idea of, where was it? This idea. Where the rank is defined by its order in the match queue. But then you can't really... See, the problem with this is then you can't really, like, build towards a certain number, because you can't, like, stack your deck with a certain number of card. Like, you can only do it... This is tricky. This is tricky. Maybe it just doesn't work for this style of game. Because it also muddies the water a whole bunch. I'll need to sort that out as well. Yeah. I just don't know that it's... I don't know if this is it. I've got a bunch of 6s there. I also just think it looks really messy. I mean, and I'm sure there's ways of making it look better, but it's just like, it's really hard to tell what's going on. But it is kind of fun. Like, I just switched into color mode there so that I could line up a bunch of 7s, which is kind of a fun thing. It's just, it's hard to know if this idea has got any merit at all or not. I think the first thing to do would be making it so you get a score boost for doing it in the numbered mode and not in the color mode. So I'm just going to try putting that in. Base score. Match length, where's that? That's a bit annoying that it's done like this. I should probably just make this into a function. Put it somewhere random in the file. Just choose a random spot. Here. Okay, and then so let's just try it with a 2 times mult for the moment. Although I don't know, I think there's somewhere that maybe that'll work. Let's see. Let us see. I'm very hesitant about all this. I'm not convinced that this is going to work. So let's go. That gives us 6 by 2 for a 3 match. Whereas this gives us 3 by 1, so that seems to work, does it? It's just so hard to see where a clump of... Like, it's really hard to plan, because it's like, at a glance, you can't really tell what's going on with the numbers. And I don't know if there's a way... Because, like, obviously, using color on the numbers would help, but then accessibility-wise, that's kind of not great. Please send help. This is a bit ridiculous. So another idea, I guess, would be that you just always are matching on the color, regardless. But then there are things that can use the rank as an input, like cartridges, that could then use the rank as an input. Yeah, let me just quickly knock one up just to try it out. And we're going cartridges. I don't think it's so much that I'm set on the idea of cards. I think it's just that cards are a very good embodiment of what this is. And I don't really think that what I'm making is a card game. Because I think the other thing with cards is that they offer a lot more than what I'm probably doing, because there's straights and like I'm not gonna commit to doing straights and you know, that sort of thing. Like, if you think about it, all I'm doing is of like an X of a kind or a flush. I'm not doing like full hand. Like, I don't know. I feel like cards come with all this other connotations as well. I'm just saying that cards are great because they've got um uh the workaround is adjacent numbers should match on rank. Or at least to power up to bridge. I think there's scope for like an enhancement that would do that. I don't know if that should be the default behavior. But I do think something like that would be cool. But I'm just not sure that the whole switching modes is the play. But I'm just gonna do this for the moment. Do the like most minimal evens. Description false. Oh, the other thing is that I have got the display. I display it as one higher than it is, so that evens will not be evens. I guess I can just oh, fudge it. And then params.gameinfo.add combo. Get 4. Return true. Otherwise we return false. Let me just try that. Let me just quickly do a bit of this. We can do the most basic possible design. Perfect. Ship it. This is some final artwork right here. Okay, so let us try that. I'm gonna have to find it, aren't I? Let me just rerun this so that we've already got the cartridge so we can test it out. Because I just think that there's a lot that opens up by having multiple things. What have I done here? Oh, I didn't actually add it. That'll be why. Shouldn't have crashed though. I will have to look into that. Okay, so well, that was very efficient. It's kind of hard to tell what's going on. Oh, actually, I think I got my... Yeah, I'll turn my game speed down. So... Even, odd, odd, odd. There's a bunch of... Yeah, okay. Because, yeah, then you can do things like this, where it doesn't matter what color you're matching, but the rank matters. And so then you've got... I just think it's... Having a single... Because, like, without having something else, the goal pretty much is always to turn your entire deck into just one color of piece. Whereas this just has scope for multiple goals in it, you know? I just don't know if this is the way to do it. I think this might be something that needs more thought. More thought, more consideration, more time figuring out the details of it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Why is game development so tricky? So bloody tricky. Hmm. That's not gonna work, is it? I think, yeah, okay. I think I'm gonna move on from this idea for the moment. I'm gonna shelve it in my brain, and we will we will see. We will see. It always annoys me so much that you can't have comments in a JSON file. Very annoying. Okay, so let me just undo what I've done because I think it doesn't really work for the moment. Oops. No, that's not right either. Right, so where else have we fiddled with things? That can stay. That's all good. This needs to go. That can stay. That can stay as well, I think. Except for that can't stay. Definitely need to get rid of this drawing stuff. Because it looks terrible. I think I'm just going to get rid of this because that was easy and yucky to look at. Easy to code, bad to look at. Get rid of it. That's the long and short of that. So then when we're drawing these pieces, don't need these anymore. Okay. Will be the big one. Look, I think at the very least we have learnt that switching what you're matching on doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. Although, I still think maybe it could. I think you just got to do a lot of work visually to get that to work. So I've already done this, haven't I? Yes. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. Getting there. Sorry, this has been one big detour, but I think this is kind of like standard. Standard stuff for when you're making a game. You just got to try things out, see what happens. You need to roll back all of these. Back. Doesn't actually change, I don't think. I guess they can all stay because I'm not actually going to be reading it. I do want that back there, I think. Honestly, look, I'll just put this back as well. Okay, so we're back to where we were probably an hour ago. That's good. That's good fun. So, things are as they were. I feel so slow now. I mean, this undeniably looks so much cleaner without having that rank all over it. The rank looked rank. Dearie me. Alright, let's try. I'm going to try making this one screen and putting everything that is on this screen to this other screen. And I will have to do a bit of jigging to get that all to work. I think. Yeah, gonna have to do something to make it all fit. But we can figure it out, I think. I think this will be the real test, is this screen. Actually, no, the real test will be the obstacle screen. Let me get that up. There's no obstacles, of course. Of course, of course. Come on. Can't afford it. What? This is rigged. Not getting any obstacles. Dearie me. Still a bit of this. Try and line up some greens for myself. Can I just get an obstacle? Is it so hard? Apparently it is. Yeah, let me just hack one in instead. Unplaced obstacles. Add new obstacle instance. Clear register. Let's try that. Be much easier than trying to find one through the shop. I do think I was getting kind of unlucky though with the shop. Alright. That should have potentially shown it already, but... I guess we just do that. Okay. So, yeah, this is going to be the screen that is going to be tricky to consolidate, I think. Because we've got the full grid shown here. Oh, that shouldn't have worked. There's something else to figure out on that screen. Let me do it again. Sorry. That should be showing the hover information of the obstacle. There's some weird shit going on. Obstacle screen. Show off. Maybe. Just. Why is it not showing it? That is very curious. I'll have to look into that. But basically, there should be hover information here. And then we also need to somehow show all the obstacles that you still need to place. So I think this will be the only screen where it's kind of tricky to fit everything in. Unless... I think it's kind of a fun aesthetic to have like a different bit of machinery for each individual thing. So maybe we could tack another screen on up the top. Just like a long, narrow, thin one that shows like cards you've got or something, or like, you know, obstacles that you haven't placed yet. Kind of like the in Balatro, the yeah. By the way, this is a goated website if you ever need to look up the UI of any game pretty much, and you can like filter it by a whole bunch of stuff. So gameuidatabase.com. But let us go to, yeah, this bit up here. I don't know what you call, I don't know what it's called. I should know that, given how many hours I've sunk into this game. But yeah, so like maybe there's scope for that, putting another little screen up here that shows these things, and then this screen is just for extra information. I don't know. Something to consider. But yeah, I think this will be the trickiest screen to get right. Here we go. Ew. That's fun. So let me just, I'll just try some art and we'll see where we go. Don't need to save that. You're fine. That is just a screenshot. I don't know. Close that. This thing can disappear as well. Delete that. New layer. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy what I've got. Basically, the idea, I think, would be to do something akin to... Oh. Just hide that. And then pretty much just move that up. Now, the question is that aspect ratio... Oh, not that. Kind of whack. Possibly. So what is 16 on 9? 1.77. So 7, 5, 8, 3, 9. It's not far off. It's definitely a bit widescreen, but I think I'm kind of more aiming for a 3x4. I think that's why I liked this so much, is because... Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. Kind of more of a 3x4 sort of thing going on. I mean, the other option would be keep the mini screen and make the whole thing taller. But then you lose the potential to add anything else up the top. But maybe this is enough screens already going on. And this is probably then closer to 3x4. Yeah. 4x3. What, 1.33? Yes, that makes sense. Yeah, that's actually very close to being... I could make it exact, but yeah. What? There's so much decision making. I mean, I guess another alternative would be to have, I guess, just keep it the way it is. I mean, I like maybe do this so that there's more, like you get a chunk more real estate in the display area, and then just make the display, like the things that I'm displaying, make them bigger or something. Because like on this screen, these icons here can all go down here. So then this screen's just completely blank. Maybe it's okay if it's just blank sometimes. And you only use it when there's extra stuff. Maybe I could make an animation for it like folding out. And then whenever there's extra information, it like folds out. Because like right here, we don't really need Although, having said that... Oh, no. Me. So, like, if you've got obstacles and shit going on, then it might not all fit. And you can have obstacles. Here, let me just whack in. I should probably make some like dev tools that make this a bit easier. But if I put in like... There are obstacles where it's like you can look through, like a cell can have an obstacle and a piece in it. And then you've got lots of information on that screen. Let me try and fill this gap. It's not going to happen for me. Let me move this. It'd be like... Oh. Be like here. Oh, here we go. So yeah, you can have a piece with stuff on it inside an obstacle with stuff on it, and then that chews up a bunch of real estate in this little screen. But it's still, like, I mean, it still looks like it'll fit everything on the one screen. But maybe this isn't a place where it would need two screens anyway. I don't even know what problem I'm trying to solve, really, with this, either. Just like, I've never seen a screen that's split into two like this in my life. So maybe it's just that, but I guess the whole thing's kind of whimsical anyway, so I don't think that really matters. Maybe I just make everything a bit bigger. Make it take up a bit more space. And I guess being bigger will make it more readable as well if it's like at a smaller size, which is always good. But there is just like a lot of empty real estate over here. I don't know if there's something I can... It just feels like there's something I could do with that rather than just have it be empty. Don't know. Yeah. I think the UI definitely needs some work. It's going greens. feel like UI stuff is always so. It's like the bane of my existence is trying to figure out the UI, but it's so important because it like makes or breaks the game almost. It's like, well, I feel like a good UI is unnoticeable, but a bad UI is like horrendous. So, and I think I'm like mostly happy with the layout of things. It's just about that last little bit of polish to make it like, because at the moment I've just got like random buttons all over the place that don't really make sense. They all need unifying and making consistent and stuff. The other thing that irritates me is like these cartridges aren't don't have any perspective, but everything else does. Like the perspective isn't amazing, but there's like, you know, angles on things, whereas these are just like straight in and out, which makes it a lot easier to like show the label on them. But it does look a bit weird. Like you wouldn't automatically think that that's a cartridge. Okay, you know what? We're gonna distract ourselves from all these issues by doing something else that I'm gonna work on, which is giving the slots and the cartridges levels as opposed to just being high voltage or not high voltage. I think the high voltage thing can disappear, and we're gonna do multiple levels instead. So there'll be like common, uncommon, rare, that sort of thing. Um, So let's do that. And I think most of that is in here. So rather than just like being high voltage or not. Oh, so yeah, I already had levels at one point. What level? So I guess we'll say that the maximum level is 2. Or would this be better? To have like a you have a common, uncommon, a rare, and maybe am I going to do a video about the release? You have a ton of boost points saved up. What are boost points? I'm not in touch enough to know what that is. But yeah, I think I'll definitely do a video for when I do I'll probably do a video for multiple points. Like I'll do one for when the Steam page goes live and when the playtesting opens up. And I'll do one. I'm gonna make a demo that will be available before the actual release. So I'll do another one then, and then obviously one when it releases as well. Oh, is that hype thing that you can do? Is that what that is? Because I have seen that. I've seen that getting that hype. um, but yeah, so I definitely will. The it probably won't be till next year. I'm hoping to get the playtest stuff out in January. That's my goal, is to do that because I'm going to be away for the next few weeks. But then after that, I'm going to knuckle down and just release it because I think like all these questions that I'm asking myself about the game right now, I feel like cannot be answered better by playtesting than me just sitting here. That's the conclusion I've come to while I've been sitting here, is that I can't come to any conclusions while I sit here. So yeah, I will try and do that as soon as possible. But I literally fly out tomorrow, so it's not going to get done today. Um, and then the demo, I guess it will all just depend on how the playtest is going, and then the actual release. In theory, I'm thinking of trying to get it done for like halfway through next year, so like June, July next year. But that all depends on how it goes. You need a transcription of your thoughts. Yeah, that would be helpful sometimes. Okay, so let me... Do I not need the public bit here? Probably not. No. Int color. This dot color equals color. This is just like a little simple way of... I'll actually put in proper color values in a moment. Public get color. Return color, and that can definitely be final. Oop, private. Okay, and then... So then, instead of this having a high voltage thing, we do a level, and this becomes level, and this dot level equals level. And this is a... I can't get level. So none of that anymore. Oh, but we probably want... Yeah, so in here, we'll need a translation for all of these. So where is high voltage currently? Oh. So we want have like common I want it to be like a background of whatever color we decide. Common, rare. There might be like a cheeky legendary or, you know, elite or something like that at some point. And in fact, here, let's do level.get this .get name public string get name and the translation of the name with the color. So that should put the color that it is in the background thing. Level.get.ordinal. Do like that. Get level, return level. So there should be a bunch of issues with this now. Yes. So we want... So is high voltage? We should now say get slot level. Cartridge.level. Yes. So do we give it a, should there be a none type for invalid? Maybe. Just leave it empty. I don't know. So return level dot none. Slot level. Slot levels. Common. And then, yeah, I was thinking to have them all just unlocked. With the new level system, because you'll have to upgrade the slot if you want a more powerful cartridge in it, but it will be open and available by default, I think. So is cartridge disabled? So we need to get the level get slot level. So then if the cartridge is disabled, return true, or if we've got a cartridge in that slot and get level dot ordinal is greater than the level of the slot. So if we're trying to put a higher tier cartridge into a lower tier slot, so this will be upgrade slot. Oh, I should actually do this as a upgrade slot level. If invalid slot, or so we need a public boolean slot max level slot index See you, Blue. Thanks for hanging out. It's been good to have someone to like bounce ideas off, even if my ideas have been kind of garbage today. It's been good. Thank you for chilling. I don't know how much longer I'm going to go. I'm going to try and smash out the very basic version of this slot leveling thing and then probably call it quits because I'm getting a bit tired, not going to lie. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, and I'll catch you sometime soon, no doubt. Right, so we get the slot ordinal equals cartridge dot or level dot. Is there a smart way to do this, or should I just do that? That's kind of what I was thinking. If it's the last value in the enum. So then where was I before? Or if slot max level. Slot levels dot set. feel like it would be kind of nice to have on here. Public level upgraded level. And it returns. You know what? I'm gonna do. I'm gonna move this into here. Call it the same thing I did, and then in here we can say if we are the max level, return this. Otherwise, return values ordinal +1. Like that. So then we can set this to get the slot level and then upgrade that level. Lastly, what's this? Level. Oh. Not locked and it's empty. I was doing a thing. I think we just get the next empty slot. Rather than trying to be smart about it. I think that's what we do. I think it's always best to keep it simple. Just keep it simple. I'll have to think about the cost thing as well. Maybe I just do ordinal times 5 or something like that for the moment. Right, what else is busted? Here we go. High voltage upgrade item. This can be renamed to slot upgrade item. Okay. This will have to be like slot max level. High voltage upgrade. We'll change that to slot upgrade. Okay, so I'll replace that with slot upgrade. Get description, slot update description. Okay, upgrade. Available for purchase is if this lot is not the max level. Okay, yeah. For the moment, not going to worry about this. I'll do a little to do something to show slot or cartridge level. Although I think the reality is that that will be a tooltip thing, probably. Maybe what I was actually, I think I was scribbling this somewhere before, is I was thinking that the slot can have the indication of, like, because I've got a color associated with each level, that the slot can have that little icon above it as well, and the cartridge will be that color, or something like that. So I think for common, we do something like gray. Is gray too dull? I think we could do gray. Where are we here? So none will be black, that's fine. This will be gray. Uncommon would be like a snazzy yellow or orange. Well, it's got to show up on that, and that's not really so good. Maybe like a blue would work. Or does it feel too similar to the gray? Gray did I choose? It was that one, yeah. Kind of want these to work with each other. I'm thinking purple for It's a bit dull, bit dull. Maybe like these sorts of pop colors. The green is nice. I like green. And green and orange is sort of like the recurring motif of the boring stuff. But maybe because I've already used them, I shouldn't use them. Maybe like a red. Do like, what if I did like blue, purple, then red? Maybe. Maybe that could work. I'll just do that for the moment, and I can always change it very easily. XFF, Boomski, and then lastly, like that. Okay, now what else is whinging? Draw match blank. High voltage. So this is where we will need to choose which slot. Yeah. Okay, so cartridge.level, but we might just ignore the level for the moment. Ooh, yeah. I'll just ignore that for the moment. We will update it to have that information already passed through so that I can use it when appropriate. So this has something to whinge about. Tooltip, yes, this is what we want. So, so rather than doing all of this, we can do just say level equals deck dot get slot level current slot. And then we did dot get name. Now I think there was level dot get name, and we want a space there. Okay. Something else will surely go wrong before we can run it. No? Oh. Let's try it out. There it is. Something's gone wrong. Oh, all of the cartridges will be passing through a boolean. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Probably be paying a little bit of attention to what I'm doing, rather than just blindly pasting things in. Da, 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 da. I think the other good thing about this is that it will simplify some of the shop stuff I've got going on, because I've got an actual rarity level to go on. Which is nice. So I think that should get us up and running. No? Something else? Oh, that's fine. Yeah, okay, no, that's fine. It's just saying that my save file is outdated, which it is. So it doesn't look like the background... Oh, I know what's going on. So in my... oh god, all these cartridges opened. In my... I didn't mean to shut that. Oh. In my... What am I trying to say? I want to open up the cartridges. How did I open these up before here? What I want. Okay. In here, when we get the name, we need to do this to lowercase. Because all of our translations are done on lowercase, and this is, I've done it in uppercase, as is the convention for an enum. Oh, sorry. Just opening something. Okay. Let's try this. Oh, yeah, so there we go. That's what I needed to check was the... It says it's a common slot. We're going to have to visually add something on the actual UI here. Like, not... Literally, probably just like a blue bar that indicates that this accepts blue cartridges. So, why are these... Oh, yeah, I need to add a new line in. But so yeah, these are rare, so if I buy them... Yeah, it shouldn't work in any of these because these are all common slots. So that's good, that's what we want. Kind of crazy that I got 2 rares right then, but I think that's because my shop script is kind of broken for choosing random items. But so this is common. I can't buy it though. I forgot that I'd done that to myself as well. Let me get rid of that. So yeah, and I think what I'll probably do is make them all common, but then slot levels dot set num slots -2 to be like uncommon, just so you've got something to get started, and then -1 will be rare. Something like that. Let's try that. And I think this will probably be where I finish up for today, because I'm getting... I think the big L earlier of the numbers not working has put me off a bit. Yeah, so this should be uncommon and rare. Then about the purple, I don't think it works in the tooltip so well. I think the blue and the... Actually, you know what? These are very similar to the Balatro colors, because I think in Balatro, it's just like that. Common, uncommon, rare, and they got the legendary in purple. I can't be doing that. I'm gonna have to come up with something else, I think. So I got these two again. Let me fix that issue with the tooltip. Cartridge. Instant. Description. Here we go. So we just want to do a string.format. %s dash and %s. And put them in. That should fix that. So yeah, I can still get these in. And they can still work, but then they can't go in any other slot, so that works, so that's good. And then I want to see if I can... Oh, I don't think I have any uncommon cartridges in the game. But yeah, I think that'll work better. Because it did feel a bit silly having these things locked. And I think it'll just simplify things a whole bunch, so that's good. So yeah, not the most productive of coding sessions. I wonder how long I've been going for. Probably like a few hours. Be 2.5 hours, yeah. And we went round in a big circle to begin with. But it was good to try it out. Like, you got to try these things out to know if they work or not. You can't really just like imagine them and think that they're all good. So yeah, I will... While I'm away for the next few weeks, I'll definitely think about these issues and try and think a way through them. And then hopefully in the new year, I'll come back and smash out some last little bits. I mean, honestly, I think what I've got is enough to begin playtesting, just to get like some very early feedback. It's more just about the trailer and the Steam page, getting them to be decent. So that will come. But yeah, I need to change the ordering that this does things in. Yeah, that'll come. And so yeah, I will see you all in the new year. I hope you have a good end of year period, however you choose to celebrate that. And I will see you all a bit later, I guess. I'll be in the Discord and stuff, so if you're not in that, check that out. And then obviously, yeah, I'll probably do a video, like not a live stream, but an actual video for when I put the Steam page up, and then also I'll post that in the Discord and stuff. So if you're not in the Discord, get yourself over there. Otherwise, thanks for hanging out. It's been good. Well, it's been it's been all right. It's been nice to hang out, but it's been not the most productive session. But that's okay. You can't win them all. So yeah, I'll see you guys at a later date. See ya.